The Styx, published in 2010, is a detective novel that unfolds in the vibrant setting of 1903 Florida. Jonathon King, an Edgar Award-winning author, skillfully blends elements of real history, events, and characters into this fictional narrative, infusing the story with both intrigue and historical authenticity. The narrative revolves around the central character, Michael Byrne, the son of Irish immigrants who grew up in the gritty Lower East Side tenements of Manhattan. Byrne embarks on a career in law enforcement, first as a police officer and later as a member of the Pinkerton Detective Agency, known for its security services. Driven by unwavering principles, Byrne possesses a remarkable eye for detail and an almost photographic memory for faces and individuals. As the story unfolds, Byrne finds himself immersed in a far-reaching investigation into rampant corruption permeating the New York City government and police department. These investigations reflect the real-life scandals that plagued New York during the era of Tammany Hall politics. Following the recent loss of his mother, Byrne seeks an assignment that will remove him from the cutthroat political climate of the city. He aims to journey to Florida in search of his brother, Danny, who had departed in pursuit of his fortune several years earlier. The Pinkertons grant Byrne a position as a security guard for Henry Flagler, a wealthy industrialist turned railroad magnate. Byrne embarks on a journey to Florida aboard Flagler's private train. Flagler has constructed two opulent hotels in Palm Beach, Florida, known as the Breakers and the Poinciana. These establishments rely heavily on the labor of an almost exclusively black workforce, residing in a nearby shantytown known as the Styx. Shortly before the arrival of the train, disaster strikes as the Styx is engulfed in flames, and a deceased white man is discovered in its aftermath. Marjorie McAdams, the striking socialite daughter of one of Flagler's close associates, rushes to the scene alongside Ida Mae Fleury, the head housekeeper. The body of the deceased white man is found near the location where Shantice Carver's home once stood. Corrupt white authorities immediately plot to arrest and frame Shantice for the murder. The unfolding events take a twist in this intricate detective novel. Marjorie makes a valiant effort to aid Shantice in evading the clutches of the sheriff, but their escape is thwarted when Byrne, Flagler, and their entourage arrive in Florida. Shantice is apprehended and placed in the local jail. Byrne, accompanied by a man who adopts the name Carlos Santos to pose as a Cuban and participate in Winter League baseball against white players, as black players are barred from such leagues, joins forces with Marjorie in a bid to prevent Shantice's unjust arrest. What follows are the familiar twists and intricate plot developments typical of a detective novel. Byrne encounters a host of peculiar characters, unravels the mystery of the deceased body found in the Styx, revealing it to be his older brother, Danny, exposes the influential figures orchestrating the cover-up of Danny's murder, and narrowly escapes assassination in his relentless quest for the truth. Surprisingly, Marjorie, initially appearing to be an ally of the black characters in the story, is revealed to be corrupt, mirroring her father's character. She emerges as the one who absconded with the land deed and orchestrated the devastating fire that razed the Styx community to the ground. In the process of unraveling the events of that fateful evening, Michael discovers that his wayward brother, Danny, was one of the binder boys involved in the booming Florida real estate market. Danny held the title to the land upon which the Styx was built and had agreed to sell it to Mr. McAdams. Simultaneously, he conspired with Shantice and the Birch's maid, Abigail Morissette, to extort money from Mr. Birch by threatening to expose his illicit relations with Shantice. On the night when Danny was scheduled to hand over the land deed, Marjorie orchestrated a fair across the water, diverting all Styx residents there as a supposed reward for their hard work. Her intention was to meet Danny, obtain the deed, and then incinerate the shantytown so her father could lay claim to the vacant land. However, by the time Marjorie reached their agreed meeting point in the Styx, Mrs. Birch had already orchestrated a confrontation with Danny. As the mystery deepens, it's revealed that Mrs. Birch had already been aware of her husband's infidelity and indiscretions. Instead of succumbing to Danny's blackmail demands, she took a drastic step, shooting him in the throat and leaving the extortion money stuffed into his mouth. Marjorie, seizing her chance, starts the fire and absconds with Danny's briefcase containing the crucial land deed. After Shantice's arrest, Marjorie enlists the services of Amadeus Faustus, a lawyer and former Civil War medic who had previously encountered Danny Byrne. Faustus promptly recognizes Michael as Danny's brother. To ensure Michael's integrity and moral strength, Faustus subjects him to a series of character tests before becoming his ally in the quest for truth. Together, they unearth evidence exonerating Shantice, but Mrs. Birch resorts to murdering her maid, Abby, in an attempt to silence her as a potential witness. Confronting Mrs. Birch, Michael forces her to confess to her crimes, including the murder of his brother and Abby. Mrs. Birch, confident she won't face legal consequences, admits to everything. While the local sheriff, law enforcement, and the coroner are tainted by corruption, the circuit judge assigned to Shantice's case, Johnny Byrne, stands as a beacon of integrity. Recognizing Faustus from their Civil War days, Judge Byrne expresses gratitude for Faustus's unwavering efforts to save wounded soldiers, transcending the boundaries of uniforms they once wore. United in their pursuit of truth and justice, Byrne and Faustus symbolize the healing of the North-South schism. Michael lays bare the entire conspiracy and the crimes committed, implicating Mrs. Birch as his brother's murderer and Abby's killer. Under pressure from the judge, the sheriff reluctantly agrees to investigate the matter. However, Flagler, along with his affluent associates, including the Birches, departs for the north without facing immediate consequences. The novel concludes with an actual historical event, the 1903 fire that engulfed the Breakers Hotel. In the narrative, Ida Mae Fleury sets the fire as an act of retribution for the Styx's destruction, although in reality, there was no such suggestion of arson. The book meticulously weaves historical details into its narrative, shedding light on the prevalent racism and classism of the era. While the primary storyline is a product of fiction, and some artistic liberties are taken with specific dates, the socioeconomic conditions that drive King's characters to engage in deceit, fraud, and even murder are undeniably authentic. This juxtaposition of genuine historical events with fictional elements lends a distinctive dimension to the novel. Nonetheless, Michael Byrne's character remains firmly rooted in the classic mold of a traditional private investigator. He possesses the quintessential attributes of toughness, unwavering determination, exceptional intelligence, immunity to feminine allure, and an unwavering sense of honor in a world fraught with moral ambiguity. His eventual triumph, however, rings hollow. The true culprits elude justice, and Byrne is compelled to form an uneasy alliance with them in exchange for crucial information about his long-lost father, who has been missing for numerous years. This narrative twist serves as a foundation for a potential sequel, although none has surfaced as of the time of writing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.